It's 6 p.m. and I call this meeting of the Miami Township Board of Trustees to order. Will everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll. Mr. Posey.
Present.
Mr. Cole.
Here. Now we come to the reading of casualties. Chief Stegelmeyer, will you please proceed with the reading of casualties?
Good evening, Board. The following is the list of the first responder casualty list for the period of February the 21st through March the 18th of 2024. Deputy Sheriff Charles Rivette, the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office in Texas, end of watch February 21st, 2024. K-9 Leo from the Marion County Sheriff's Office in Florida, end of watch February 21st, 2024. K-9 Luca from the DeSoto County Sheriff's Office in Mississippi, end of watch February 21st, 2024. Officer Cody Allen, Independence Police Department in Missouri, end of watch February 29th, 2024. Trooper Christopher Gadd, the Washington State Patrol in Washington State, end of watch March the 2nd, 2024. K-9 Raiden from the Tomah Police Department in Wisconsin, end of watch March 4th, 2024. Border Patrol Agent Christopher Luna from the United States Department of Homeland Security, Customs and Border Protection Branch, end of watch March 8th, 2024. Sergeant Thomas A. San Fratilio from the Genesee County Sheriff's Office in New York, end of watch March 10th, 2024. And Patrolman Justin Hare from the New Mexico State Police in New Mexico, end of watch March 15th, 2024.
Will you please join me in a moment of silence for these first responders? Thank you. Are there any questions on the consent agenda?
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Cole.
Aye.
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Snyder, you have Resolution 017-2024.
Good evening, Board. Resolution 017-2024 is a resolution to approve the countywide 911 plan. This plan was reviewed and approved by the 911 Program Review Committee at their February meeting. Subsequently, we've had our police department review the plan, as well as had some discussion with our partners over at the City of Kettering. They have also reviewed and actually adopted the plan at this stage. State law requires that the plan is not considered fully ratified until it's been adopted by municipal corporations and townships representing at least 60% of the total county population. So at this time, we've got a copy of the plan in your packets for consideration. This plan is essentially the same 911 plan that's been previously in effect. So if there are any questions, the police chief and I are happy to try and go through those with you, but at this time, we do have a resolution for your consideration to adopt this plan.
No questions. Mr. Schweikart, you have Resolutions 18 and 19, 2024.
Yes, good evening, Board. I have Resolution 18, 2024. It's a resolution to authorize an agreement for pavement assessment and asset management services. The last comprehensive assessment that we conducted of township roadways was in 2018, and it was done internally with staff, and it took about a year and a half almost to complete it because staff has normal work responsibilities that they have to complete during the daily operations. So we set out and looked at different partners that we could team up with to provide us a full comprehensive assessment, and we found several vendors, but this one particular in this agreement, they use 3D LiDAR and infrared technology to collect high quality infrastructure data, and they also do it on a deployable mounted sensor. And what set them apart was that they send the sensor to you, and then they use AI data processing to lift that data. So it basically really reduces the cost associated with doing a pavement assessment. So just recommending that we do an agreement, and I'd be happy to answer any questions regarding this resolution.
Any questions? All right, Resolution 19, 2024 was withdrawn, and Resolution 2024 was also withdrawn. So this is the public comment portion of the meeting. This is where residents of Miami Township are invited to share their thoughts with the board. Your comments are valued and will be taken into careful consideration. The board will not engage in dialogue at this time, and presentations are limited to 5 minutes each. Is there anyone wishing to address the board? I move to close the public comments portion and move to the consideration of votes and motions, votes of resolutions and motions. I make a motion that we approve resolution number 17, 2024, a resolution approving the countywide 911 services final plan as approved by the County 911 Program Review Committee. Can I get a second?
I will second.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 18, 2024, resolution to authorize an agreement for pavement assessment and asset management services. Can I get a second?
I will second.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Okay, this is, we are now going into a public hearing. I make a motion that we open public hearing for zoning case number 45823.
I will second.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
So zoning case 45823 is now open. The following will be the order in which this hearing will proceed. Staff will give a report. Applicant will give presentation. All proponents will speak. All opponents will speak. A time limit of 5 minutes will be placed on each of the speakers. And please give your name and address for the record. The board will close the public hearing prior to taking final action. The board will now hear the report of the staff. Mr. Carlson, have the legal requirements for this hearing been met? And do you have a recommendation from the Miami Township Zoning Commission? Would you please review your report at this time?
Yes, Board, legal requirements have been met. I do have a zoning commission recommendation. First, I will give some case details. Zoning case 458-23 is a final development plan request for Rushlight Assets. Rushlight is the parent company of their subsidiary, Cornerstone Research Group. Cornerstone Research Group is located in the existing building at 881 Washington Church Road. The to-be-constructed proposed office building would be located to the north of that within the same planned development campus. Here's the preliminary plan that was approved in September of 2023. The preliminary plan established 4 distinct areas. Area 1 is for continuing operation of the existing CRG office manufacturing facility, and Area 2 was the proposed location for the office expansion for Rushlight Assets, as well as a community space within the building that would be utilized by partners of the campus. Just a quick look at the aerial view of the preliminary plan. The building is centrally located east-west, but it's sort of the north end of the property. So it is pretty far away from any of the existing property lines. There is a single-family residential neighborhood located to the west of this property. From corner to corner, the closest portion of this new building is almost 1,000 feet, it's a little over 900 feet from the nearest residence, as well as a pretty significant tree line on that west property line. I'll show you a view of that in a minute. So the development standards approved in September of 2023 created references to the Miami Township zoning resolution for the majority of items, with a couple of exceptions. One, some leeway be given for architectural creativity, and 2, increasing the minimum setbacks relative to building height in this area. This building far exceeds the minimum setback. Here's a look at the rendering provided by the applicant. This is what they would like their office building to look like. Certainly high-quality building materials that meet the standards of our code, as well as a large amount of glass with the ultimate intention of opening up the east elevation facade. Some of those glass doors in the conference meeting area would open up to the retention basin located to the north. Here's a larger view of the site. The applicant is far exceeding the number of trees that were required for their site. 13 new trees were required. They are proposing 42 new trees, as well as 30 existing parking lot trees that they installed, not as a part of any requirement, but as their desire to improve the aesthetic of their lot. So the applicant is certainly committed to creating a beautiful campus setting for their expansion. They're also proposing a walking path to be located around the pond, north of the lot through the woods, to provide a walking trail for their employees to be used. They're also installing not anything that is a codified requirement, but a large number of shrubs, grasses, perennials, again, to show that they are working hard to make their building beautiful. They are requesting to utilize the existing parking. In this case, looking at Article 43, if you were to, under that statute, count the minimum amount of parking for both the north building and the building to the south, the parking would be about 175 spaces. There are 159 existing today. Again, a significant portion of the building will be utilized by employees in either building. So staff and the zoning commission would recommend that additional parking not be installed at this time. However, the applicant has stated that there is ample room east or west of the lot should they need to expand, but for now feel that it would be a suitable amount of parking. There are 23 existing light poles on site. No new poles or light wall packs are being proposed, but there is some under canopy and recessed lighting on the building that all meets our standards for maximum brightness and color temperature. And then finally, a view at some of the surrounding tree area. There is pretty significant tree copse, 50 feet at some of the thinnest points on the western boundary, as well as additional that it's in the backyard of the residences to the west. And again, over 900 feet from the nearest residence. And then finally, the process going from here, with this final development plan approval, they would be able to get their zoning certificate for the site, as well as final approvals for engineering and building from Montgomery County that would be issued after our zoning certificate. And the zoning commission recommended approval in a 3-0 vote with 0 stipulations. If the board has any questions, I'd be happy to discuss. One other quick item, their plan, should they be approved, would be to start construction this summer, finishing next summer.
All right, no questions? Any questions?
Thank you, board.
There is no applicant tonight, so we won't hear from them. There's no proponent and no opponent, so we won't be holding that section of the hearing. I motion to close the public hearing for zoning case 45823.
Second.
Mr. Call.
Aye.
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 021-2024, resolution to adopt a final development plan under zoning case 45823. Therefore, be it resolved, the Miami Township Board of Trustees approves the final development plan under zoning case 45823 and upholds the zoning commission recommendation.
Second.
Mr. Call.
Aye.
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Department head comments, starting with Chief Stegelmeyer.
Good evening, Board. Just real briefly, I'd like to reiterate what the weather instance that took place last Thursday. And I want to especially take notice here in the state of Ohio, we had 9 significant tornado events that took place, 4 of which took place in the neighboring communities to our north in the counties of Miami, Darke, and especially in Logan County. Logan County is especially important to me because that's where I spend a lot of my time in the summer. And I would like everybody's thoughts and prayers to go out, but more significantly, I'd like everybody to take a look at what happens when the community and government get together in a catastrophic event. In a short period of time, the two cities of Lakeview and of Russell's Point, which are very small communities, less than 2,000 people each, had assimilated and restored power and water and major infrastructure opening in less than 3 or 4 days. Two cities that were totally devastated. I want to give good kudos to the emergency services and all the communities up there for coming together and getting the job done. There's a whole lot more to get done, obviously, but our thoughts and prayers go out to them.
Absolutely.
Just a quick comment, Board. I want to take a moment to thank Jill Drury, our communications manager. Jill Drury led the charge on our website update. If you've been on a township website, you probably have noticed a couple of changes. We focused on 2 items. One, an aesthetic improvement to bring our website to a more modern look and feel, but more importantly, trying to take a look at our links and how our website is navigated to make it more intuitive. So Jill did a lot of work on that. Community Development was fortunate to work with her to get some of those updates made. Take a look. Anybody at home, recommend you take a look. It definitely feels a lot better, a lot cleaner, a lot more modern. So we're excited to have that website out and launched, and hope to keep spreading information about our organization to the public. Thank you.
Mr. Klingman?
Yes, I want to acknowledge this as my last board meeting as your fiscal officer. And it's hard to believe that all this started back on January 3rd of 2023. It's been a great journey. It's hard to believe that time flies as fast as it does. I think I've made a number of contributions to move the township forward. And I want to thank the trustees, Terry and Don, and John, he's not here. And I think I want to thank Clay. I know we've had a great working relationship, and I think we've accomplished a lot. And I want to thank Penny, who's not here, and of course Karen in the office as well. And I think that I've had a lot of great relationships and friendships with people here in the township that I've always appreciated. And I just want to say thank you again, and that's all I got to say.
Hey, I've appreciated you being on the board, so on the supporting us as a fiscal officer.
Thank you.
So good luck in the future. Mr. McCord?
I just wanted to thank Mr. Klingerman for his service these last 15 months. He's brought about some change and some reflection on what we do, and helped kind of reaffirm the processes that we've established, and gone out and validated those out in the wider community. So I appreciate it, and I thank you.
Mr. Snyder?
Good evening again, Board. I would also just like to express my thanks to Mr. Klingerman for having served as our fiscal officer this last year. We appreciate all the work that you put into, quite frankly, learning a new position and stepping up in a time of need when the township needed to have somebody to take over that role. So again, we appreciate all the time and effort you've put into that this last probably about 15 months or so now. So. Also wanted to acknowledge a few of our employees. Miami Township is starting a new program this year to recognize some of our employees who are marking milestone anniversaries. And each employee will be receiving a token of our appreciation for their anniversary. But the first quarter recipients for this time, starting this year, were Police Officer Ethan Benz, who celebrated 5 years with Miami Township. Our Police Property Room Specialist, John Brunn, who celebrated 10 years. Our Police Records Specialist, Betty Eldridge, who celebrated 10 years. And Police Officer Sean Todd, who celebrated 15 years with Miami Township. So I want to particularly note, as we have a lot of businesses that note regularly to us how hard it is to keep and retain staff, and people switch jobs regularly, that we do still have a number of employees who decide to stick around for a long period of time, and we appreciate their dedication, commitment to Miami Township. So that's all I have.
All right, and you would be at the front of that list, right? Mr.
Almost
Posey?
at the front.
Yeah, I just also want to extend my congratulations and thanks to Fiscal Officer Klingerman. I think that stepping into that role in particular is challenging for an appointment, and he jumped in with both feet and made the role his own in his own way with a new degree of diligence and value to the board and the township that I'm excited to have Mr. Matthews come on, but I hope that he continues the excellence that Mr. Klingerman was demonstrating in the role.
Yes. And I have no further comments, so I move that we adjourn this meeting at 6:20.
May I make one quick comment?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you, Greg, for the work you've done. Greg has been very helpful, very positive in transitioning to me. I understand when he was put in, he was thrown in both feet of deep water and no help from his predecessor. So I appreciate that he's taking a positive approach to transition. Very helpful. Thank you.
So I move that we adjourn this meeting at 6:21 PM.